Hello, everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast, as part of a audio podcast series, the Storm Solar. This audio podcast, as part of a child edition and evidence-based edition. This audio podcast, as part of the Rupture feature. This audio podcast, as part of a Stellular Impeach, and this audio podcast, as part of a Storm Robotics production. In this audio podcast, now looking at looking at patient and public involvement on PPI and where does it need to get to, and as part of peer-reviewed and published works, looking at understanding education for healthcare service users aligned to social media platforms. So, healthcare service users with long-standing conditions and disabilities who seek out information on healthcare may not always be able to identify answers or find answers to questions. Peer support is an important sort of part of online communities and allows the exchange of knowledge, recommendations, and other important information which reflect the expertise of patients gained through experience. Threads in online communities can be grouped into categories, which is helpful in identifying support linked to experiences. One investigation had informed that healthcare service users gather health information from online health sources, but are not always able to interact through consultations or appointments. Access to the internet at the same time by healthcare service users differs, but it has a positive impact surrounding information access and healthcare trajectory. One U.S. investigation informs that between 56 and 79% of internet users seek health information online, and the internet has advantages, but can also lead to misinformation. So understanding the challenges related to keeping the information shared on health forums accurate helps establish validity and evidence surrounding resources and information for healthcare service users with uh, with with health conditions. And threads through social media platforms and online forums can help patients or healthcare service users identify information. Uh, and PPI or patient and public involvement requires the development of updated guidelines that are relevant across several areas of health and disease. Good practice guidelines can help healthcare service users and providers join up best practices. That draws this podcast to a close. This audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast as part of a Storm Solar. This audio podcast as part of a chartered edition and evidence-based edition. This audio podcast as part of the Rupture feature. This audio podcast as part of a Stellular Impeach, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Robotics production.